In this video, I'm gonna show you how to install Ubuntu 24.04 LTS ARM64 Desktop Edition on M1, M2, or M3 Apple Silicon Macs using VMware Fusion. With VMware, you can run Ubuntu 24.04 inside a virtual machine on any Apple Silicon Mac. Unlike Intel, Apple Silicon allows virtual machines to achieve bare metal performance. Thanks to the VMware Fusion, which allows running ARM64 operating systems on Apple Silicon at nearly native speeds. Now watch this video and learn how to install Ubuntu 24.04 on any Apple Silicon Mac. For demonstration, I used an Apple MacBook Air with M1 chip in the video. The procedure will be the same for any Mac. To install Ubuntu 24.04, you need to reserve at least 80 GB or more free space on the Mac OS. Now go to this link using a web browser, which will take you to this download page. VMware Fusion can be used for personal computing for free of charge, or you can purchase the premium version based on your requirements. Inside here, click on this option to choose a personal use license. Then create a user account if you don't have one. In my case, I already have an account and I choose to log in. After logging in, navigate to download section and you will find the VMware Fusion universal binary that supports both Intel and Apple Silicon Macs. A free license key will be generated for you. Copy it and proceed to download the DMG file. While it's downloading in the background, head over to the second link, scroll down and click on ARM architecture. Then download the Ubuntu 24.04 Server Edition for ARM. Once both files are downloaded, place them on your desktop for easier navigation. Then double-click the DMG file and install VMware Fusion. You will be prompted to grant system permissions, so respond accordingly. Then activate VMware Fusion using the personal license key. After the installation is complete, you will see this screen. It's time to create a new virtual machine. To do so, click on Create a Custom Virtual Machine. Choose Linux from the sidebar and select Ubuntu 64-bit ARM Edition. Then click on Continue. Now choose to create a new virtual disk and click on Continue. Now select Customize Settings, name the virtual machine and save it. Now configure the virtual machine by selecting the processors and memory. In this case, my Mac has 8 cores, so I'm going to choose half of them. And the same goes for the RAM. So allocating more CPU cores and RAM improves the performance of the virtual machine. Now by default, VMware Fusion allocates 20 GB of free space for Ubuntu, but you can increase it if needed using the hard disk option. For now, I'm going to allocate 50 GB of free space. Now keep in mind that you cannot extend the free space of the virtual machine once it's created, so better to use the desired space right now. Now go back to the main settings, click on CD or DVD, take this option and import the Ubuntu ARM64 ISO. Then leave the rest of the settings at their defaults. Now close this window and click on this play button to run the virtual machine. Now once you see this text within the virtual machine, click inside, select the first option using the arrow keys and press the enter key to load the Ubuntu Live Installer. Now keep in mind, when you tap inside a virtual machine, the cursor will be bound to the guest OS. To release, press Ctrl plus Command to regain control of the cursor within the host OS. Now you can see a text-based user interface. Now use the up and down arrow keys to scroll through the options and press the Enter key to make a selection. Now select the system language. Simply highlight the option with arrow keys and press Enter to make a selection. Then select your keyboard layout. I'm going to leave it as default. Now choose the first option, that is Ubuntu-based server for the installation, and click on Done. Then for the network configuration, leave it as default. And the same goes for the proxy configuration. Now wait for a few seconds to fetch the Ubuntu mirrors and choose Done. Then select the entire disk to wipe the virtual drive. Now this is the file system summary and the partitions it's going to make, and choose Done. You will see this message, everything will be formatted. Don't worry, it won't wipe anything on macOS. Simply choose to continue to accept the changes. Then create a profile by providing your name, username, server name, and password. It's recommended to keep the name and username as same. Then click on Done. Now I'm going to skip the Ubuntu Pro subscription and choose to continue. You can choose to install the SSH server to enable secure remote access to your server. Then click on Done. I'm going to select nothing over here and click on Done. Now the Ubuntu server installation will start. It may take a few minutes, so please be patient. Once the installation is complete, reboot the virtual machine. Now when you see this message, click on the settings gear icon, select CD or DVD, and if you notice VMware has ejected the ISO automatically, we have mounted. Anyway, now press the Enter key to boot into the Ubuntu command line interface. Now go ahead and log in with your username and password that we created earlier. Voila, now you can see the prompt has changed. The first thing to do after setting up the Ubuntu server is to update the system. Go ahead and enter the following command to retrieve the latest package information from the sources and upgrade all the packages. Since we chose to use the Ubuntu server that comes without GUI, so it's time to install the GNOME desktop environment, which provides a graphical user interface. To do so, first type this command to set up tasksel. Once it's done, type this command to set up the Ubuntu desktop. Now this is a big package and requires internet to download, so make sure your host OS or macOS is connected to Wi-Fi. Now setting up GNOME desktop may take around 30 to 40 minutes, so please be patient and do not interrupt your Mac. It's recommended to connect to the power source while it's setting up the desktop environment. Now once it's done, go ahead and type this command to reboot the virtual machine. Congratulations, you will now see a GUI with a login screen. Now click on the username and enter your password to log in. Let me go to settings and show you the installed version of Ubuntu. Now as you can see, it's Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. Now by default, the animations and transitions are choppy in Ubuntu because the VM uses the software rendering. To fix this issue, Open the terminal and type this command to update the apt source list. Then run this command to install VMware Guest Editions. Once it's done, type this command to shut down the virtual machine. Once it's turned off, click on the Settings button, choose CD or DVD, and uncheck this option. Then select Displays and enable 3D graphics. Now choose the shared graphics memory of 256 GB or higher. In my case, I'm going to use 4 GB. Then take this option to use the full resolution of Retina displays, which allows you to scale up the Ubuntu user interface. Once it's done, click on the play button to start the virtual machine. Now you can see the VM is using full screen resolution and the UI elements looks very tiny. To fix this, head over to Ubuntu settings, choose displays, and set the scale value to 200%. And voila, now you can see the perfect resolution and the text is crisp and clear. And notice that if I jump into a full screen mode, VMware dynamically adjusts the user interface. Now in the About page, if you notice, the graphics mode is set to hardware rendering instead of software rendering. Now this indeed improves the performance of GUI applications. The animations and transitions are buttery smooth while opening the applications. I feel like I'm running Ubuntu on bare metal, so allocating more CPU cores and RAM indeed makes the VM respond faster. The only issue I had was with the sound. Whenever I play a video or audio, the VM tends to struggle and the audio is getting distorted. Now apart from that, Ubuntu runs perfectly fine with no major issues on Apple Silicon Mac. I also tested a few Ubuntu applications like VS Code, it works fine. As a bonus part of the video, in case you dislike Ubuntu and decide to remove it, first turn off the Ubuntu VM. Then using the VMware menu bar, click on the window, choose the virtual machine library, select the Ubuntu VM from the sidebar, right-click on it and choose Delete. Then select Move to Trash. And that's pretty much it. This is how you can install Ubuntu 24.04 LTS on M1, M2 or M3 Macs using VMware Fusion for free of cost. Let me know what do you think about it. If you have any questions or doubts, do post them in the comment section down below and I will try to help you. Thank you so much for watching. This has been KSK Ryle. I will catch you in the next one.